I'm sure many of you have heard this before. The Lost Children arc will never be animated due to the content relating to kids. And I'm just thinking, what? Are people not aware of the anime out there that covers stuff just as dark as the Lost Children arc, or perhaps even worse? One anime I watched a while back was called Maiden Abyss, and I questioned myself many times while I watched it. How the hell does this anime exist? How was this all allowed? The stuff the kids go through in this anime is some of the most horrific stuff out there. And then I see people saying one of the biggest reasons this Berserk arc will never be animated is because of the content related to kids and everything they go through. And no, that's not a good reason at all. There are worse anime out there. And I refuse to hear that argument when there are anime about feet, about some dog being horny with some girl. There's a lot of crazy anime out there, and I refuse to hear people say this is the reason we will never get a Berserk anime covering that arc. Now sure, there are many restrictions when it comes to broadcasting anime, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. The biggest example is literally an interview with the producer of the 2016 Berserk anime, where he is asked this question. Berserk is famously graphic and violent, which is a bit easier to get away with in manga than anime. Have there been any hard decisions regarding what can or can't be included? And the producer answers with this: we're differentiating what is being broadcast and what will make it to Blu-ray. For broadcasting in Japan, there will be certain restrictions we have to abide by, although MBS is known for being more liberal about what they restrict. They previously broadcast Full Metal Alchemist, and the principle is that if there is a reason to depict the violence, then they want to include it. We want to show that some things in life aren't pretty, and I think that's very important, not only in animation but across all mediums. So yeah, this interview pretty much disproves all the people saying it will never be animated because of the difficulty of broadcasting rules, when the producer literally said there are more options where some will allow certain stuff to air if it's not just mindless violence. And I refuse to hear anyone who thinks the violence in this arc doesn't have any meaning. The main theme of this arc is about the loss of innocence, as it's Jill's story and the path she sees, one being Rosine's path of escapism when she lost her innocence, or Guts' path, one of violence after his loss of innocence, making the violence a very necessary part of this arc, as this arc is all about Jill and her character development. Thus, her perspective on Guts being so violent is important to the arc. Now that I got that whole it will never be animated topic covered, I want to talk about the real important issues, and that being, would it be possible to actually do a good adaptation with good art and good animation? As we all know, Miro's art is one of the best out there, and honestly, it would be impossible for an anime studio to capture the quality of the art throughout the entire anime. Thus, it's why in the old Berserk anime, the designs are slightly less detailed, and they also do a lot of frame shots, where it's just a really cool drawing with a lot of detail, but no animation. It saves time, and also, it's way easier for the animator, so I don't blame them. Plus, it looks really cool. Then there's the whole 2016 CGI Berserk anime, as a way to make it easier, as animating that armor and pretty much everything else would be a lot. So as for would it be possible to make a good adaptation with good art and good animation? Yes. The funny thing is, the old Berserk anime and the CGI Berserk anime pretty much gives us the answer we need. We need to combine both. Now hear me out. Every Berserk fan is disgusted with the idea of CGI due to the trauma we got from the 2016 anime. But CGI has progressed so much compared to when the anime came out, and CGI keeps getting better and better, as shown with these anime that look amazing despite being CGI. Hell, that latest Dragon Ball movie is all CGI, and it genuinely looks so good. It would definitely help a Berserk adaptation in the future, because not only are there very huge scale battles in Berserk where there's literally hundreds, thousands of monsters or characters all together, animating all that would be literally hell for the animators. Thus, CGI is definitely going to be a necessary element for when Berserk gets a new anime, which will happen eventually. Now as for the other thing they can utilize that the old anime did is use those frame shots where it's just a drawing but it's very detailed. detailed, but it's very, very good art. Now, I'm not saying to use it constantly, but rather to use it for highlight moments, as honestly the old Berserk anime made that work. They executed that so good. One would see that as lazy or a trick they used to not animate, but honestly, it worked really good as it captured that feeling of Berserk. Honestly, in a way, I'm grateful Berserk hasn't gotten a new anime adaptation this past decade, as the anime industry has advanced in many areas. One of the biggest being CGI, as like I said, CGI is definitely something that is going to be necessary in Berserk. So now that CGI has progressed so much, it's honestly a very happy welcome for when we get a new Berserk anime, which is why I'm happy that for when we do get one, the CGI is going to be way, way, way better. As for the last issue that I'm worried about is that when we do get a new Berserk anime, would it continue where the 2016 Berserk anime left off, or will we get another Golden Age arc adaptation? As my god, they love adapting that arc so many times. Now, for what I will want personally is for the new anime to forget the 2016 Berserk anime exists and continue right after the Golden Age arc, right after the Eclipse, as the old Berserk anime holds up pretty well, honestly. Thus, the first arc of a new Berserk anime should be the Lost Children arc, and it continues from there. I'm curious what others think, as honestly, this arc, we will definitely see an adaptation in the future, and I want to hear everyone else's thoughts on how you would like a Berserk anime to be. Entirely 2D, CGI, etc. Hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.